does he live?
Hey Sunday drivers. Today I'm turning a business trip into a Sunday drive. We're heading up to Beardstown, Illinois. And I think that that's what we should all be doing on our business trips. How often do you hear, oh boy, I gotta go on a business trip to Fargo, North Dakota? Well, Fargo might not be the most interesting place in the world, but I bet there's a fun story behind it all. And that's exactly true with Beardstown. In fact, I think Beardstown is one of the best examples we have. In 1819, a man named Thomas Beardstown, built a cabin along the Illinois River because he thought it would be a nice place to live, and he started operating a ferry service and trading things with the Indians in the area. By 1827, it was laid out as a town, not incorporated until the 1890s, but it was laid out as a town. And in 1832, it was the supply depot for the Black Hawk War, which was a short war with a band of Indians known as the British Band. And they got that name because of a treaty that Chief Black Hawk and that group of Indians had signed with the British in the War of 1812. Well, the British Band, under Chief Black Hawk, were still a little bit upset about the Treaty of St. Louis, which more or less said, you know, at the Mississippi River, we can settle things and you're not going to attack us. Well, the Indians were like, well, no, we were here first. You know, this is our land. So they sent an envoy to come and talk to the U.S. We're not entirely sure what their motives were or what they intended to do once they crossed the Mississippi River, but we were convinced that they were going to be hostile, and so we attacked first. And we ended up winning that battle, but then later, several battles the Indians won, such as the Stillman's Run, a couple other battles. Eventually, the war ended at the Battle of Wisconsin Heights in southern Wisconsin, and that all ended the very brief military career of a young Captain Abraham Lincoln. There were a couple of other prominent figures that fought in that war. Zachary Taylor would become a future president of the United States. Jefferson Davis, who you may remember was the president of the Confederate States of America. Lincoln would actually return to Beardstown several times as a lawyer to argue cases in the Beardstown courthouse, and he would also come back to debate Stephen Douglas, right? I don't know. Douglas, in the Lincoln-Douglas debates, you know, the ones about slavery and states' rights and what the federal role in all of that was. And they would have those debates here, and while he was staying here, it's believed that he stayed in an inn that was built by not Frank Beard, that's ZZ Top, Thomas Beard's son, Edward Redbeard. Edward Redbeard was kind of a gambler, and he ended up going out to Kansas and getting shot in a bar fight, probably over a game of cards that he was playing. But that more or less ends the story there. That inn doesn't exist anymore. It's now a post office. Well, the building's not even there. Now there's a post office where it was. But let's jump forward, you know, about 100 years from when Edward Redbeard was shot. There was a group of ladies. The average age was about 70, and they started trading stocks, and they wrote books about it, and they wrote videos, and they were claiming a 23.4% return on their investments. Well, this was amazing. I mean, the Dow Jones Industrial Average was only averaging, you know, 10 to 12% a year at most, even in the best years. So 23.4%, that's incredible. Well, the Wall Street Journal, after they had been on all sorts of morning talk shows, had written books and had them translated into Spanish and Portuguese and Chinese and dozens of other languages. Wall Street Journal sent in an auditor to audit their accounts, and come to find out, it was kind of like a Ponzi scheme. They were taking the fees that they charged their clients and lumping them in with their profits, making it rise a whole lot. When you take out those fees, they were only making about 9% on their investments, which actually was underperforming just the standard index funds. I probably made a couple of you investors and stock portfolio brokers mad with the terminology I use, but that's kind of the basic gist of it. Now you can still buy their books on Amazon. They're a few pennies or something like that, and as far as we know, they're still trading, but hopefully they're being a little bit more honest about it all. Nowadays, Beardstown is the home of JBS Slaughterhouse. it's got another name, but it's JBS, and they slaughter 20,000 hogs every single day. Hogs come in from Iowa and Wisconsin and all over Illinois and Missouri, more or less the whole Midwest. They're coming in 24 hours a day, and they're slaughtering those 20,000 hogs every single day. They bring in workers from the border down south, and actually I've been told that there's a sign down there that says, hey, there's good work to be found in Beardstown, come to Beardstown. And so they come, they find there's good work to be found, they tell their family members, and that's spread across the immigrant population. And now, from what I hear, there are 35 different countries represented, and close to that many languages being spoken, which makes Beardstown one of the few places in the world outside of Central Africa that you can hear some of those tribal languages that are famous for their clicking. I'm not even going to try it. I don't want to offend someone. So there are stories to be found even in the middle of nowhere when you're on a business trip. Try turning your business trips into a Sunday drive. It's a lot of fun. So until next time, thanks for driving with us. Hey Sunday drivers, do you like the show? I have fun doing it, but I don't know if you guys like it. If you like the show, like, comment, and subscribe. That way I'll know what I'm doing. And if I got any of the history wrong, be sure to tell me, and I'll do a follow-up video telling me who corrected my history. So like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for driving with us.